Not too many years that we've sat in here and had players signing in February, which I call the late signing date. But again, one of the last ones I can remember finding the last week of January out on the road by accident was Servassier Dennis. It's one of my memorable February signing guys. So hopefully I have two more like that as we go through. But again, we signed 19 guys in December, and we were able to sign two more in this next period. The coaches did a heck of a job on the road, but I'll get right into it. So we'll have a total of 21 high school players. I think you start off, 21. I don't know how that, goes across the country as far as that many high school players. And I get a question by high school coaches all the time about, this transfer portal, how many you take? And we're never going to stop taking high school players. We're always going to try to fill up as much as we can with the greatest high school players we can, and then whatever's left over, we'll go fill that with somebody in the transfer portal. But never going to save like 10 of them and figure, hey, we'll go find somebody in the portal. So we'd like to develop our guys here in Pittsburgh. We love high school players, and that'll never change as I go through and become the head, as I'm the head coach of Pitt. So again, the two guys. The first guy is Tyreek Robinson, a 5'10", 170-pound wide receiver from Shreveport, Louisiana, Evangel Christian Academy. Very successful high school down there. Coach Bell, Coach Underwood loved this guy's speed, his athletic ability, the way he changes directions. Again, came on an official visit with his dad, Joe. Had a great weekend here in Pittsburgh with him. Had a great home visit with him down in Louisiana. I don't know how many people have been down in Shreveport, but his dad brought home a box of donuts from Southern Donuts. And if you ever go down that way, wow, okay. If you like hot Krispy Kreme donuts, this one's even better. But Southern-made donuts, I should say. So we're excited to have Tyreek in this class, and just a super kid, super family. And again, our receiver room will get better by having him in that room. The second guy is Malachi Thomas, a big 6'4", 235-pound tight end from Thomasville, Georgia, Thomas County High School, or Thomas County Central High School. Late addition, I would kind of call him as late as kind of a Servassier Dennis that we looked. Again, our recruiting staff and Coach Bell and Coach Underwood did a great job of digging him out down in Georgia, down in southern Georgia, southwest Georgia. Again, we wanted a young tight end in this class, freshman class. They're hard to find, but we think we found a diamond in the rough in Malachi. Everybody down there loves him, from the the cafeteria ladies. I mean, really did a deep dive on him as a person, and every lady in that building was like my favorite guy. And they won a ton of games down there in a state championship, 6A championship down there as well. Just an unbelievable kid. He's got a smile on his face whenever you talk to him, and so those two guys we're excited to have. And then last thing, again, just thanking Graham, Wilbur, our entire staff, and everything they did in the recruiting office, our coaches. Not going to belabor that, but also a huge shout out to Chris Bickle and the Alliance 412 and all the work and dedication they put into Pitt football. So can't thank Chris and his crew enough for what they do. So with that, I'll open it up for questions.
Pat, recently there's been two really good college coaches decided to go to the NFL after the term. Is it going to be, with all the stuff going on in college football, is it going to be hard to keep the best coach?
What I think it's first of all, Charlie's an unbelievable coach, person, and the Indianapolis coach got a great one there, and same thing with Jeff Hafley. Everybody's got different goals in their life and different things that they make decisions based on, and I can't make decisions for anybody else. I know I won't be hopping to the NFL, I can tell you that. It's just not my cup of coffee, I guess. But I think everybody's got to make that decision. I think coaching the National Football League is different than coaching these young guys. I mean, I've sat in a meeting here for about 30 minutes this morning with our guys, and I just love coaching these groups. I love developing the young men we have in our room and trying to get them to do it the Pitt way, the professional way of working with them. So, I think you've seen this for years, Jared. This is not the first time. Maybe it hit, right in our room, right in our building with Coach Partridge, but this is happening for years, I think. But I think, someone's probably do a study on how many coaches left 5 years ago from college football to, four. I mean, if you did a study, I bet you every year you see an increased number for whatever reason. And I think a lot of things are happening in college football. Certainly, part of that reason, I think. People, we all love to coach. It's like the first thing I told our guys, it's great to be back in here and get to coach. This is what we do, this is what you love. Some things you love as a college coach or a pro coach, and sometimes you don't like some things. And just being back in here and coaching football is what you love. And, in the National Football League, you don't have to worry about recruiting. You don't have to worry about, one of your players missing class or 5 minutes late for anthropology class, whatever it may be. So there's different things that we get to do at the collegiate level. And, every once in a while, you readjust your goals, and people have to make decisions based on what's best for them and their families.
What's the challenge to replace Alex, Charlie?
It's funny. It's never easy to replace anybody. But I look back and I look at what we've done here, and we're going to hire good people and great coaches. And it starts with the great people. And sometimes you have names on the tip of your tongue to fill those positions. But it's not rocket science what we do. We've had success wherever we've been. And like I said, Coach Partridge is as good as you get as a D-line coach. But, we had good line coaches at Michigan State and had great success, got a lot of sacks and TFLs, and we're like, you do it wherever you are. So, I think, Randy Bates and our defensive staff will find a way to get it done. We'll hire a great guy to replace him. And, whoever we've replaced, whether it was when Coach Stacchiotti took over in the strength department, we hired Ryan Mandelak when we lost Rob Harley to a coordinator's job. We lost Ronaldo Hill, if you look years ago. And, you just continue to bring quality coaches in here. And there's a ton of them out there. And again, it's our job as coaches, it's my job as the head coach to develop our coaches. I always say this, you better get good people in the building that know how to build relationships with your players. And then the next thing is we can coach the coaches. You can't coach a guy to be a good person, but you can coach him to coach this better or do this better. And that's kind of what we'll do. But again, I've coached D-line. I'll go take the D-line over. I've coached it all. And again, we'll be running the same defense. Nothing's going to change.
Is there anyone to do about?
Oh, yeah. A couple of them.
Talked to Kade before you walked in here. It was the first time we got to talk to him and hear him describe the offense.
Sorry it was so late, but the timing just didn't work any other time. But, yep, go ahead, Chris.
We got him before spring.
Yep. Thank God.
Hearing him talk about it, it's obviously a pretty big contrast to what you've done here before. How much did you go into the process of looking, saying, I need something different, I need something that is a departure from what we've done before, going in a different direction?
It was huge. I think there's nothing more stressful than hiring people, because it's, you lose sleep over it. Like, the day after the season, I start to strategize and think, what are we going to do? How are we going to do this? And, it's hard. And then it's hard to put the rest of the staff together. Myself and Coach Bell, hours and hours and hours of text message and just talking about different guys and what fits him, what fits me, what fits us as a team. And it's never easy. And the hardest one is that coordinator job. And I think once, I got Coach Bell in here, it was easier to get the next pieces in there, but it's just finding the right piece, because he's got guys on the tip of his tongue that he likes, and it's just finding the right guy that fits Pitt. So that's never easy. It's like, I take it personal, and it's, we got to get the right guy in here, and we want to go. And I couldn't be more excited about Kade Bell and what he can bring to our offense, to our kids, and he's the whole package. He really is.
What convinced you that Coach Bell was the right guy?
What convinced me? Everything, really. There was, again, I talked to a lot of guys, for that position, and just really everything about him. I'd probably say his enthusiasm, his energy. He's really, really confident in what he can do. He's a builder. He built his own offense. Kind of built my own defense. He's kind of built in the same mold. Again, coach's kid. And I think those guys are ball coaches, and he's confident in what he does. He's got answers to everything. We're going to be in up tempo, at times, and we're going to play fast. And I think, really, maybe one of the things that sold me is, defensively, we're not very complicated. Any Novus football guy would look and say, gosh, they line up on normal downs with 4 down. They line up in almost the same spots all the time. The linebackers look like this. The corners are pressed out there, and everything looks the same. But, but then on the snap, it changes, and it's simple but complex. And I think that's what our offense is. When people talk about playing fast, I think they think the tempo. But I think, that fast goes 2 ways. And I think if you talk to a lot of our guys and talk during spring ball and after spring ball, our guys will say it's simpler for them to go play faster. And again, when I say fast, you can have an athletic guy, but if you take an athletic left tackle or a tailback or a wide receiver and you give them too many things to think about, they start to play slow, okay? And my philosophy as a head coach has always been to make our guys play faster than they are. And, there's nothing worse than taking a guy that runs a 4.6 and he's playing at 4.9 speed, okay? If a guy's at 4.6, I want to make sure he's playing at 4.6 or faster. I think our guys will, it'll be simpler but complex. We'll be explosive, and again, our guys they'll know what to do and be able to play at a higher level.
What has it been like for you working with Coach Bell so far?
It's been great. I mean, he's just a different individual in that room. I mean, he's a guy that's like going to text message you all day long. Like, he's one of those young guys. My thumb is kind of numb. But all his fingers must be numb because he's sending recruits at all hours of the night. Like, check this guy out, check that guy out. I mean, I got text messages that long. But it's been awesome. I love a guy that communicates. He's a communicator. Does a great job communicating with the kids, with his staff, and just he's very organized, which is kind of how I am, and that's how I like that offense to be.
How did Kade Bell sort of land on your radar, and when you brought him in, what gave you the confidence that his offense can make the jump from FCS to FCS?
Yeah, I don't care, FCS, high school. I could have hired a high school offense coordinator. You see some explosive offenses in high school. It's football, okay? And I'll tell you what, when you think about, coaches that are very creative, I think of a lot of high school coaches out there. And again, you can take a high school coach and get the same thing. So I don't care FCS. I was in FCS. I ran, defenses at the FCS level. I coached at Rhode Island, played small football as well. And, you can do it at any level, and I always thought just some of the things we do defensively, could we do it at the next level? I took a job out at Northern Illinois. I couldn't talk, the head coach or the coordinator into doing some other things. And then, I go down the road to Miami, Ohio, and I'm able to implement this stuff that's kind of crazy that people say you can't do that, and do it. And Cade's the same way. He's got some stuff that he's very creative. I think you're going to see some creative offense out there, which creates explosives, which keeps people off balance. I think that's it.
You mentioned you spent a lot of time recruiting. What's the reaction been? How have people they've been drawn to this new offense?
Yeah, I mean, Amanda talks about, FCS and all that, but like as I go on the road, it's obviously, especially down south, I mean, I can't tell you how many high school coaches and coaches on the road that I didn't even know. They're like, texting you saying, what a great hire, Sometimes people like that don't get those opportunities. People are like, oh, it's FCS, you got to hire a Power 5 guy or something like that. But I don't have that ego. I'm not going to have to come in here and say I hired a guy from Alabama or LSU for it to make it look good. Okay, this is not about looking good. It's about being good. We got the right guy in Kade Bell, and maybe to finish up the rest of your question there, Amanda, was analytics. To find that guy. Did a lot of. I mean, it's crazy how analytics are, but just to give you, like, hey, what am I looking for, and just to look at different. So, I won't give any shout outs to who, but they know who they are, and I've thanked them for, kind of their input as far as just helping me kind of figure it out. Because it wasn't like I knew Kade or some of the other guys that I was looking at, but it was more of just finding the right guy, But then doing your homework after that, find out that he fits at Pitt.
You think you might eventually go as fast as Tennessee?
There'll be times we'll go fast as Tennessee, which will be great. I mean, I think it's hard as a defense. It'll be great for our defense to see it because we see a lot of it, whether it's fast or, semi-fast. But, again, we're going to go fast when we need to go fast. We're going to go slow. Some people think a defensive guy doesn't like that. I could care less, It doesn't help when you go slow and huddle up and I'm looking at the clock, looking to see if we're going to, have another delay game. That doesn't help you either. As slow as we went offensively last year, we didn't win the time possession. So, some people think that defensive guys want to win the time possession. I want to win the game, and I want to win on the scoreboard. And I want our kids to have fun doing it. I think that's what Coach Bell brings.
Is there anything that your defense will have to adjust on in this game for you going as fast as Tennessee?
No, I mean, to me, it's you want the game. We're going to see. I mean, I would say 12 regular season games. We're going to see probably 11 out of the 12. That's just offhand that are going to go fast tempo. Whether you're snapping it in 7 seconds, 7 to 12 seconds like a Tennessee might do. Everybody else is snapping it before 20 seconds. So to me, the harder it can be in practice makes it easy on game day. our kids will think on game day, the rest, those 11 games of those 12 are going to be slow. They're like, God, they're so slow, coach. Which is great. Well, we're going to have to think faster during practice, which is great. Probably one of the biggest adjustments we had during the year is, because we've been going, slow the last couple of years, is our guys, having to, like, okay, game week now, we got to press as defensive coaches, trying to get them to understand the tempo and make sure they get home after the play's over. So, I mean, we won't be worried about that. Now we'll be worried about some of the other things that maybe we don't see during practice, which is something we'll have to work on, during fall camp and spring ball. Lindsey's outstanding. You get to know him better every single day as you go. We talked personnel yesterday, and he's just so detailed. He's right down the line. It's just, again, anytime you bring somebody new in, and you guys will have an opportunity, one by one, EJ will get it done. I think next weekend you'll probably talk to Jake Bernowski, our special teams coordinator, start with the coordinators. But Lindsey does an outstanding job. He's detailed. He's played the position, and he knows Coach Bell's offense as well, so it'll help us operate a little bit faster.
And how some of the returners, especially in offense, reacted, how you've seen them take to, I didn't realize you haven't practiced.
Yeah, we kind of did have a little, 30-minute practice out there today. We had a walkthrough for about 30 minutes today, which was fun. Like I said, to get back into football, we do it, every Wednesday. We'll get a little action in, one time a week here. So we'll have 3 more before we get into spring ball, just to kind of semi-install stuff. But again, you'd have to ask the guys, but my gut feeling and I guess what I've seen is they're excited. They're real excited. You're learning the new offense, you're learning new terminology, but I think they see how it's going to be faster, that they can play faster, they have less thinking on the field, and I think that's what every player would like to have.
Beyond the change in style of your offense, how difficult was it for you, on a personal level, to overhaul your offensive staff?
It's difficult. It's again, it's like I tell you guys every week, and it starts with the coaches. When you don't have a successful season, it starts with us, and we have to look in the mirror and make adjustments based on what we need to do to come in here on a Monday and we have fun in here. Jerry, I expect you to be doing jumping jacks and being excited in here. Sundays. I don't like coming in here on Sundays and being grumpy and upset with what we did. So you make changes, and I think it starts with us as coaches, and then the players got to make their changes, and we got to fix things that were wrong from a year ago and make 2024 a great one. And that's kind of the goal. So it's never easy. There's some good people, great coaches, and that's hard. It's hard on everybody. It's hard on them. It's hard on our entire staff and everybody in this building. No one likes to go through those changes, but it's part of the business. It's a necessary part of the business.
How do Nate, Christian, and Ty fit what Coach Bell wants to do on offense?
Again, I think any good offense coordinator is going to fit them in. I think they're all great quarterbacks. I mean, and you said Ty, and let's go to Duggar as well. I mean, Julian's he's left-handed. I don't know if you noticed, Coach Bell's left-handed too. So it's kind of good to have a left-handed quarterback coach. Because I think I said to you back in December, a lot of people won't even recruit a left-handed quarterback, and Coach Bell was a darn good left-handed quarterback. So I think they all fit into it. I mean, we're watching them out there throwing today. It's operating the offense, keeping it simple enough. They know where to go with the ball and get it out fast and make good decisions. That's what it comes down to. They all fit.
This was a more like crazy off season than normal. With the exception of Coach Partridge's position, do you feel settled now? Is it?
You're never settled, I mean, you're never settled, you're driving to work today, you're just thinking, okay, what's going to, come across my door today? What's next? So you're never, I mean, it's never over till it's over. I mean, you hope it's done before spring ball, but you could, you're never saying, okay, we're done. It's good, because if you do, the next day you'll be surprised with something else hitting you.
Couple of players we talked to earlier that were under Kade down in Western Carolina. They called him like a big brother and said, he obviously was playing college football less than a decade ago. How have you seen his youth maybe help him to the players?
Well, I think, he obviously, coach is a coach. I don't care what his age is. It doesn't really matter. But, I talk about enthusiasm and energy. And again, I got enthusiasm, energy, and I'm an old guy. So I don't know if, the big brother or anything like that matters. It's it's knowing your offense and having confidence in what you do and having fun at what we do as coaches.
Kade Bell said that you're a very open-minded, person to work with. Also said that you guys have had, disagreements and kind of arguments. What has it been like just kind of getting to know each other on,
Yeah.
coming to terms with?
Again, I don't know if we've had disagreements, but, he'll have his opinion of, just, again, the only thing, it's going back and forth, which is great dialogue. You need to have dialogue. The one thing I don't want is a yes man, okay? If I say, hey, I think this is the best guy for the job, and he's like, okay, coach, that ain't good, I want guys that are gonna say, coach, this is what I think. Hey, why do you think that? No, so I won't even talk, I don't know if I'd call it a disagreement, but it's discussions more than a disagreement, because I don't think we've disagreed at all. And to me, in the coach's office, you better have guys that are, I need a guy who tells me, like, hey, this is what I like to do, and this is why. Like, I get it, but you better have the why of what you're doing. I think that's part of, good coaching, is always being able to answer that question, why are you doing it? And I think everything we do as coaches, whether it's a drill on the field or, decision you make in the meeting room as far as the game plan goes, like, what's the reason for that? Why are we installing that? There's a reason why. But to me, you always want to have the reason why. And I think it's always good for coaches to look back and go, okay, why am I putting that in? Or why am I doing this drill? How does that drill translate to the field on game day? But that's my job as a coach, to make sure they're thinking about the whys of what we do and how we do it.
From a Phoenix perspective, how would you, to wrap their head around this new offense, would you say West Coast, 2-minute, hurry up, run and shoot? Is there any kind of nickname that you come up with? Or
Pitt offense, okay, 2024. Great question. What is it? Coach Bell would say it's an NFL style, okay, but he's just put his twist to it, okay? The NFL doesn't go that fast, so it's not going to be like these, these things maybe you never saw before. I mean, college football is college. Football is football, okay? You're going to see us do concepts that high schools do. You're going to see us do concepts that colleges, across the country do. You're going to see us do concepts. We're going to try to do it better and do it with a little bit more tempo at times, and try to get in better plays than the defense has. So I would say it's an NFL tempo type offense. That's what I'd say. But hopefully you ask Coach Bell that question, he could give you a good answer. I'd say, but it is NFL. I mean, when you look at what we're doing, it's like the NFL. We're just going to put a little twist to it, and he's got his own wrinkles where he can get enough wrinkles in it that we're not going to be predictable on a game day, I think.
I was wondering if you're going to get your fast lane hammered.
All right, Jerry, you're jettisoned from here now. Escort this.
What do you mean, Jerry? I don't get it. The fast lane. I'm always in the fast lane going fast.
We'll take a couple more serious questions.
When's the last time you had a speeding ticket? Years. Me too. Me too.
Anything
I
else?
bet you might have to, afterwards, we'll talk, when EJ's not grumpy over there, talk about the fast lane, because I'm not sure I know what you mean. What else we got?
What do you like about Eli Holtz?
You know what, obviously he's a big athletic, smart guy, highly recruited out of high school. When he went in the portal, I think Coach Bell had some, even when he was not even at Pitt, had some ideas that he might be going in. You hear rumors from high school coaches, just of what may happen. But we loved his athletic ability, his arm. He's kind of what we were looking for as far as a quarterback, a young guy that we can develop. I don't want to say he's a high school player, but he's 1 year deep into college and brings us a really good athletic quarterback in the class.
Keith always talked to us about how he wants to increase all the different ways that the Jaguar college is used in the offense. How much of that was part of the discussions about him coming here, factoring in the starts ahead of you guys?
Well, I think it's a lot with what we do and how we do it. I mean, whether it's him or Jake Overman or Jake Renda, I mean, you want to get your players the ball more. And, sometimes you can have so much offense in that you're thinking more about how many plays you have in and how many personnel groupings you have in, as opposed to how can we get a guy a ball. So we got to find more ways, and we will find more ways to get Gavin the ball and the tight ends the ball, but spread it out. I mean, we can't be tight end heavy and not get those guys the ball out there. We want to spread the wealth around and again, throw it to the open guy like we always do, regardless of what offense you're running. Quarterback's job is to distribute the ball to where it's supposed to go. Nothing, angers a quarterback coach or offensive coordinator more when you're throwing it to a guy because you like him as opposed to the guy you're supposed to, because they're grading down on, on Sundays when they don't throw it to the right place. Bostic got a lot of minuses back in the day. He was throwing it to the good guys back there instead of reading his coverage. Sorry, Pat. I know that's not true.
Why is it still important for you to fill up your class with high school and have that be the priority as opposed to?
Because I think, there's a lot of great high school players out there. And again, that's a development question. I mean, it's about developing players and taking these young guys. Sometimes you can get some guys that are stuck in their old ways and don't want to do it their way. There's something to developing high school players into great college players and move them on to the NFL. And if everybody's going one way to the portal, then I'd rather stick, and I'm sure there's a lot of coaches across the country who still have that philosophy. I know there's a lot of high school coaches worried about, their guys getting opportunities, but I think, I still believe that's my way, our way, Pitt's way of developing a football team.
Yeah, you have to consider different training methods for guys who can make the offensive line when it comes to the pace of the game and how fast they're going to have to move to get used to that.
Not really. I mean, we got two tackles that are 200 or 335 pounds. They'll be able to go. It's called training. Coach Steck, does an unbelievable job. And it's kind of what you get used to, right? When you practice with tempo every day, you get used to it, and that's a tempo. By the time we get to fall, all guys have a good idea of how fast we want to go, who's going too slow, who's got to get going more, who's got to cut a little weight. But I don't think that's going to be and again, we've done this in the past, and we've gone fast in the past. We've gone fast in 2 minutes anyway, last year. So, I mean, it's just a different way of playing. And again, we're going to speed it up, we're going to slow it down. We're going to speed it up, we're going to slow it down. We're going to look fast, look slow, and go.
Anything final? Coach, thank you very much.
All right. Appreciate it.